And our proud Craig tradition continues. We're so delighted our daughter Murray is joining the freshman class here this year, and we couldn't be more proud of that. But it's being back here, and it's walking through these halls that a lot of memories come back, and unbelievable impact that this institution has had on my family, on us, the teachers, the counselors, the administration. If you grow up in this community and you attend a place like this or like Parker, you can't be impacted and grounded in a core set of values that are just phenomenal. Teachers like Frank Douglas. Not only did he transform his room and brought you into a world where he taught you world geography, but the life lessons that he would impart upon you were life lessons. I talked to Frank the other day, and he said, "Toby, did you ever think when you're putting Janesville on the map that maybe your brother, in his own unique way, would be putting Janesville on the map?" And I thought about it, and boy, that sounded clever. And then I said, you know what? That's wrong. It's Janesville. It's this community. It's Wisconsin. It's all of you that produced Paul Ryan. And what role models did we have? You can't be anything but inspired. Before Craig and Parker became high schools, we had one high school, Janesville High School. And you look back in that window of time where the class of 1942, class of 43, class of 44, those boys graduated, became men overnight as they left school and put on the uniform and went and fought for our freedoms. And many of those guys didn't come back to us. And those that did, we've grown up with, almost seem apologetic about coming back. But boy, did those gentlemen make a mark on this community. And you can't grow up here without being inspired by such role models. This is the environment that Paul Ryan grew up in. This is Janesville. This is our community. This is Wisconsin. And before I introduce Paul, I've been asked this question a lot this week. Can you believe your brother on Wednesday is going to be nominated as the vice president of the Mitt Romney ticket? And I think about it. Not only do I believe it, I think it's right. It's the right time. He's the right man for the job. He's got the right set of solutions. And he and Mitt Romney are the right team. I get the privilege of introducing the people that matter most to Paul. His lovely wife, Jana, his three adorable kids, Liza, Charlie, and Sam. And those people are going to be accompanied by your next Vice President of the United States, Paul Ryan.
Hey! Hey, look at that. Hey, Aunt Sue. Hi, Aunt Ellen. Man. Well, look at this. Hey, guys. Thank you. You guys go ahead, have a seat. All right, honey. Thank you. Go ahead, Elijah, you can have a seat. Wow. Man. Wow, look at this. Man. It's good to be home. It's good to be home. It is so good to be home. You know, I think I recognize just about every face in this room. This is my family over here, related to half of them. Hello, Janesville. It's good to be home. Man. You know, now you know I'm one of the less articulate members of the Ryan family. Thanks, Tobe. I really appreciate it. And let me say, on behalf of Jana and our kids, we just want to thank everybody here in the community for their just amazing outpouring of support. It means so much to us. Just like Tobe said, I've spent a lot of time in this gymnasium. I never really was this close to center court. Most of my stuff was outside in the bowl in the back on soccer and track. But this gym means so much. It's so familiar. It's just like all the gymnasiums around this country. And Janesville's like that. It's that kind of community. And while we take stock of our community, I think we should right now put in our minds and our prayers the people who have been victims of Hurricane Isaac and those who still stand in the path of the storm. I also want to thank the Janesville Police Department. These guys are great. They've been phenomenal. You saw my priest, Father Randy. Thank you, Father Randy. I want to thank Chief Dave Moore. I want to thank the city manager, Eric Levitt. They've been phenomenal. And I want to thank our neighbors on Courthouse Hill for indulging all of this and for their patience. We really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody in the broader community. Thank you. I know this has put a lot in Janesville, and I want to thank you, and I want to just tell you how proud I am to come from Janesville, Wisconsin. When I see aunts and uncles and cousins here, the last time Tobin and I sat down and counted it all up, we think we had 67 cousins right here in Janesville. Helps you win a town like that. Our family story is not different than most Americans. Helps you win a town like that. Our family story is not different than most Americans' family stories. You know, back in the 1850s, the potatoes stopped growing in Ireland. So our great-great-grandfather, with a shirt on his back, made his way to Boston, worked his way on the railroads to get enough money to buy a farm. And that brought him to the outskirts of Janesville, Wisconsin. And he looked around, and it was summertime, and he said, "This looks just like Ireland." Then came winter. And he said, "Oh, crop." But they made a go of it. And lots of immigrants came in those years. To this town, we had lots of immigrants. In that wave, it was Irish immigrants. It was Cullens, Kennedys, Fitzgeralds, Murphys, O'Learys, Fagans, Ryans. We all made a go of it. We've all raised our families here. We're fifth-generation Janesville, Wisconsin natives. And it's not a unique story, it's the American story. And the reason our family came here, and the reason everybody else's family came here, is because of what this country stands for. America is not just a piece of geography, it's an idea. You know, it's the only country founded on an idea. And that idea is precious. That idea, please have a seat. That idea, I know, if they have seats, great. I don't want to make you stand the whole time. Boy. That idea, thank you. That idea is so precious. That idea, we believe in free speech. That's the idea of USA. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so. Man. Sounds like we just went to state, doesn't it? You know, we think about our communities, and each generation passes on a better country. I remember sitting here watching those Stan Dufresne and Coach Bob Suter days. And now, guys I went to high school, the Miller brothers at Whitewater and Craig, my buddy Ryan Masterson coaching over at Parker. You know, what we're seeing is each generation is picking up the legacy and carrying on. We live together in freedom. And what we do in our communities is we look out for one another. That's what's so special. That's what government can't replace or displace. Think of the charities that we all work together to raise right here in Janesville to make our community stronger. Echo Food Bank, Can Do Industries. They're amazing places. Our executives come out of retirement to chair the United Way campaigns here in Janesville. We have crisis pregnancy centers, community nursing homes like St. Elizabeth's. We have Rotary Gardens, which people come from all around to see. We have the House of Mercy. We have HealthNet. We have a great Boys and Girls Club. We have a YMCA. We have a YWCA. These are the things we do in our communities that bring us together to help our neighbors in need. You know, they call it civil society. I call it Janesville, Wisconsin. And what is important is that our government respects this, that our government honors this, that our government works for the people and not the other way around so that we can do this. That our government works for the people and not the other way around so that we can do this. That's what this country is all about. You know, we've been hit pretty hard here. You know, we used to always say, as GM goes, so goes Janesville. Remember that statement? You know what? We've been hit hard. We got a hard knock, but we are hardy people, and we will recover from this. Yeah, I've got a lot of friends who lost their job at the plant. One of my buddies, he went to Black Hawk Tech, afterwards got an HVAC contracting degree, and now he's doing a great job, he's got a great career, and he's happy. Another one of my buddies lost a job over at Lear. He went to Black Hawk Tech, went to Whitewater, and he's on a path to a brighter horizon and a promising career that's going to be there for him for the rest of his life. That's the kind of thing we need to do, is pick ourselves up, help people in need, give them the job training skills they have, flourish entrepreneurs and small businesses so people can get back on their feet. That's exactly what the Romney Plan for a Stronger Middle Class is all about doing. Friends, family, this is a defining moment for our country. This is not an ordinary election because it's not an ordinary time. We have a big choice to make. We're not just picking the next president for a few years. We are picking the pathway for America for a generation. And what Mitt Romney and I pledge is to make sure that you get to choose what kind of country do we want to have? What kind of people do we want to be? It comes down to that because the stakes of this election are so high. We've seen what the president has offered. We have seen the path he has placed us on. It's a nation in debt. It's a nation in doubt. It's a nation in decline. Or we can choose a better path. Reapply those founding principles, reclaim the American idea, get people back to work, and get the American idea of prosperity and opportunity society back on track, and that's exactly what we are going to do. This is why we need leadership. Let me tell you about the man who asked me to join him in this quest. Mitt Romney, thank you. Let me tell you about this man. This is a man of faith. It's a man of honor. It's a man of family, a man of integrity and achievement. Remember the Olympics in the late 90s? Remember all the waste and the corruption and the embarrassing scandals? Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? They asked this man in Boston from Utah to go and turn it around and save it, and that's exactly what he did. He dropped what he was doing, he served in a dutiful way, and he saved us, and he made us proud, and he revived the Olympics in that time. That's leadership. It's a man who created literally tens of thousands of jobs. And by the way, when people are successful in business, that's a good thing. That is not something to resent. We're proud of that. We lift that up. Hey, Scott. That's what makes America grow. That's what makes us tick. That's what creates opportunity and prosperity. He started small businesses. He turned around failing small businesses. He created companies like Staples, Bright Horizons, Sports Authority. I look around this room and I see an entrepreneur there, I see an entrepreneur there, I see an entrepreneur there, I see a business leader here, I see a job creator there, I see a job creator there. Everywhere I look, there's one right there too. I see a business leader here, I see a job creator there, I see a job creator there. Everywhere I look, there's one right there too. Everywhere I look, I see friends, I see community leaders, I see family members who get up early in the morning, who take risks, who work hard, who sacrifice. They don't know if it's going to work, but it does because they work hard. And you know what? They don't need their president telling them that the government gets the credit. They need to know that we know that they built their businesses and they get the credit. That's how jobs are created. Just look at the contrast between where we are with President Obama and what Mitt Romney achieved during his 4 years as governor. Under President Obama, the U.S. credit rating has been downgraded for the first time in history. Under Mitt Romney, the Massachusetts credit rating was increased. Under President Obama, 23 million Americans are struggling to find work today. Nearly 1 in 6 Americans are living in poverty today. It's the highest rate in a generation. Unemployment's been above 8%. Household income in America has gone down for families an average of $4,000 in the last 4 years. When Mitt Romney was governor of Massachusetts, unemployment went down, household incomes went up $5,000, and he reached across the aisle. He didn't demonize Democrats. He worked with Democrats, and he balanced the budget without raising taxes. That's the kind of leadership we need. Every now and then, the president, in moments of candor, tells us what he really thinks. He kind of reveals his thinking and his philosophy of government. You remember when he was talking to this guy named Joe the plumber? He said, we just need to spread the wealth around. It's this economic school of thought, this belief that the pie of life is somehow fixed, that the economy is static, and that it's the government's job to try and redistribute the slices more equitably. That's not the government's job. The government's job is to set the conditions for economic growth so we can grow the pie for everybody, so that everybody in America can get their vision of the American dream. Remember when he was talking to a bunch of donors in San Francisco, and he said, people in the Midwest, people like us, that we like to cling to our guns and our religion. All I got to say, from a guy who goes to St. John Vianney right over there, whose tree stand is over about 6 miles that direction and that direction, this Catholic deer hunter is guilty as charged and proud of that. That's freedom. The last one is the most doozy. When he's talking to small business people, that they don't get the credit that the government does, it reveals a reasoning as to why we're stuck in the rut we are in. And so here's my point. It is not too late to get this right. It is not too late to treat other people with respect. It is not too late to get our spending under control, to get our budget under control, to clean up the mess in Washington, to get people back to work, to have an energy policy, a job training policy, to have spending cuts, to have small businesses growing and thriving, to make more things in America, grow more things in America and sell them overseas. It's not too late to get people back to work. It's not too late to fix this country's problems. We can do that. Here is our commitment to you. Everywhere I look, I see so many familiar faces. It's very moving. Commitment to you. Everywhere I look, I see so many familiar faces. It's very moving. And I love you too. And we want to know that the values that built this country are going to stay in this country. We want to know that those little things in life that tie us together as a community are going to continue to tie us together as a community. We want to know that we're going to reclaim those great ideas and those principles with respect for one another and give the country solutions to fix these problems while they're still within our control. Here is the commitment that Mitt Romney and I are making to you, our fellow citizens, my fellow citizens of Janesville. We are not going to duck the tough issues and kick the can down the road. We are going to lead. We are not going to spend the next 4 years blaming other people for problems. We're going to take responsibility. We are going to honor the fact that this country was created on an idea by our founders. Our rights come from nature and God and not from government. Our founders secured this, and every generation of veterans, and so many of them I see here, they're the ones who gave it to us and preserved it, and we thank them for that. And the way we will honor their sacrifice, their legacy, of our ancestors, of our forefathers, who did everything to make it so that we can have the opportunities we have. My dad, a lot of you knew him. He said, son, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. He usually said that to me when I was being part of the problem. But the solution is that we are not going to try and transform this country into something it was never intended to be. We are not going to try and replace our founding principles. We will reapply our founding principles. That's what we're going to do to get this country back on the right track. That's how we preserve the American legacy. Friends, we can do this. We can get this done. We can turn this thing around. And I simply want to say to you, together, we will get this country back on the right track. We will get this done. We can do this. Thank you so much, and God bless you. God bless this country. God bless Wisconsin. Thank you so much for coming out. We love you all. Thank you.